Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to our movie class. Today we'll speak about the movie, which name is, I don't know how to pronounce it, Taare Zameen Par. Vasant, can you read that?
Yes, it's called Taare Zameen Par.
Okay. And it has an English title as well, right? Like a stars on the yours or something like this. Okay. And it's a pretty good family movie. And let's start from the story itself, from the plot. Jorgen, would you like to summarize a part or a whole movie?
Yeah, I can read
Okay.
some. This movie is intelligent filmmaking. It's very entertaining and with a lot of nice music. It's about Ishan, an 8-year-old little cute boy who hiding his inabilities under stubbornness. He rather spend his time with dogs, his fish, doing painting and kiting than being with his peers. He is often daydreaming. At one occasion in class, the teacher was throwing something on him when he looked out of the window instead of answering the teacher's question. The older students in the school call him a duffer. Also his father does, who is very hard to him when asking him out and screaming at him, calls him idiot and punches him in the face. He also tells Ishan he is lazy, stubborn, and have a bad attitude. Because of the bad results in school, they decide to take him to a boarding school with only one rule: discipline. But when he met the temporary art teacher, Nikum, everything is changing. The very first time Nikum enters their classroom, he appears as a clown. He starts to singing and playing the flute, and the pupils starts to sing along with him. He says, draw, paint, and do whatever you want to do. He also says, think, dream, and imagine, and step it on the paper. He really infects the students with joy and optimism. He sets out to discover why Ishan is unhappy. He visits Ishan's parents and there he looks in Ishan's books, including a flip book and his paintings. Then he asks their parents if they can see any patterns, and they can't. He explains to them that their son has a confusion among similar looking alphabets, for example B and D, and writing S and R in reverse as in sir. He then tells them about dyslexia and is adding 2 more problems he may have. 1, to perform multiple instructions, and 2, being suffered from poor fine gross motor skills, which means he can't analyze size, distance, and speed altogether. He also tells them to care it's a medicine that relieves pain. Nikum asks the headmaster if he can stay in school to help Ishan, and he gets a yes. He is showing Ishan slowly, step by step. They start with 1 letter, pronouncing and building animals. He also gives him recordings to listen at, etc., and it works. In the end, he declares an art competition for everyone in the school, including the teachers, that Ishan wins. Yeah.
It's great. I didn't have to watch the movie.
So, Vasant, can you share something about this movie, some trivias, something cultural? What do you know about this movie? Why you recommended it?
Actually, this guy, the male protagonist, who appeared as a teacher, his movies are in really different genre, and he always gives us a socially responsible movies most of the times. If you look at his previous works, so and very few movies were recommended. Yeah, nominated by Oscars this genre, and one of the movie is his movie. So it's very rare to have that potential to uh, use your position in a media and giving the people responsible content. So that's why I decided to choose his one of his movies. Yeah.
I understand. I understand. Well, movie is kind of, I can say, it's kind of like social advertisement, right? It looks so. Layla, what do you think about the movie?
I watched the movie, and of course, you know me, I was full of tears. But then I closed my eyes. I remembered some scenes, the father's slapping his face, and the teacher's eyes, every time full of tears and affection while he was looking at the students. And also his approach to this dyslexic child. I loved the movie and I shared it on Facebook profile and I asked the teachers to watch it, to tell you the truth. And I must say thank you, Vasant, because it gives a very important message. The teacher's role is important.
But is it about teachers? I think it's about any kind of mentors, parents, older brothers, friends, teachers.
Of course, my friend, but if do you remember the teacher the first time she was shouting at him and asked him to get out of the classroom? I mean, as a
So,
teacher,
so,
of
so
course.
do his father. So does his father.
Yeah. The thing is that I looked at his face and I was really impressed. I was really sorry. But I watched the film as a teacher, as a mother, as a father. Of course, our roles are very important because it is easy to have a child. To bring up a child is very important.
I understand. What sounds?
Yes, and many people blames about society we are living right now, and I think I personally believe that it it starts from a child. So if we construct a child's life very clearly, then if we give a strong basement, I think if we provide a strong basement, then that will reflect the future generation. Like few moments ago, we talked about the Las Vegas shooting. Then, if you look at the guy's life, then his childhood must be so much miserable. I think the way he raised up might be the reason that what he is doing right now. So, if we really concentrate on a child's raising, how do we call it? The method of raising a child, and that will reflect a good society, I think.
In many ways, I agree with you. In many ways, I do think that we program people in childhood, and the way how we train them from the first steps is very important. I understand that, but in the same way, I saw many parents who not interested in own children at all, and I think we as society don't have any plan for that. we cannot uh, we cannot solve it in any appropriate way, in my opinion. We cannot take these children from the family. We cannot change their family. So we always will have some children that have only friends, teachers, and something like that. No, don't have family. It's what I think.
I agree.
And I don't know how to solve it. In my opinion, there is no solution at all. Because everything is worse than when you're trying to do that something.
Iman, sometimes we ask the parents to come to the school and we would like to convince them that what they are doing is wrong. but
But
they never listen to us.
I understand. But do you have any power, to convince it, to convince them? Do you have any, you know, how they call it? Any in this argument? Do you have do you have a good position? Do you have to offer or demand something from parents?
No, one of the fathers shouted at me and he said, "How could you interfere? Who are you?"
Right. And it's a very personal topic for me here because it's changed recently. Recently, in Soviet Union, which Russia belongs in the past, teacher was a big person. They can call parents and make them, how was it called, and punish them.
Yeah.
Yes, it was possible. It was possible, and people do care about what teachers say about your children. Nowadays, everything is topsy-turvy, right? Or how it's called. Everything is different. It's opposite.
Yeah, everything has collapsed. You're right.
Right. Teachers has no power at all. They don't. Uh, they cannot make discipline in the class. They have no say in any decisions that parents do. They can do nothing at all.
No, no, no.
And
It depends on the teacher. Look, when you say discipline, it doesn't mean that shouting or giving punishment to the student. I usually use this method. I stop talking with them for 2 days or for 3 days. Believe me, it works. And usually, if they become better, I just try to make them happy by just giving them a piece of cake or just a bar of chocolate. You know, these things are the teacher has to know some pedagogic approach and psychological approach. I'm not saying that I am perfect,
I
but
understand. I understand what you're talking about. You're talking about normal people, right? Normal children who want to learn, who can understand. But sometimes we have bad people in our society,
yeah.
and uh, and everything is collapsed at that moment because if in class you have two naughty boys, then class is going to learn nothing, and it's a big problem. I don't know how to solve it.
Kick them.
It's impossible.
No, it is not possible. I can't, you know.
So what about your personal experience? Do you have something that you relates to this movie or some situation from personal life or something like this?
Me? You're asking me?
I ask everybody, and you too. It's you too.
Uh, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, it's your turn, my friend.
Please, Jörgen.
Yeah, I can feel some similarities. I have no dyslexia, though, but some situations I can, yeah, recognize.
What about you, Wasans?
Yes, I can relate many things because it's totally relevant to me and the educational system and the parents' pressure. Especially, you can see that the dad is always concerned about how his children behaves, and he always compares it to the other children. Like when his boy lose the tennis match, and he gave a miserable look towards the other child who won that match. So yes, it happens here. People always compares to other children, and you want to like look at him. He does that, and why don't you? Like that's where the problem starts. Okay.
I heard many advices that never do that, never compare. But I don't know how to do that. I cannot stand it. I from time to time I tell my boy something like, "Look at him, do the same," something like this. What about you, Leila? Is it Do you have some personal feelings about this movie?
I mean, I'm such a sensitive person, so in some points I have found myself because I'm a very naughty child. I was a very naughty child, and but my parents never slapped my face or never hit me. I had a lot of punishments. That's all. Um, I love the movie.
I understand that, and my question was kind of tricky because of course, everyone have personal experience with that movie because it's so it's so broad. You can find yourself there and there, so it's obvious.
So, Ivan, I just remember this. When I did something wrong, my dad used to say to mom, "It is your daughter. She's your daughter." And if
Right.
I did something good, and he used to say, "Wow, she's my daughter."
Right? I always do the same. It's a father's boy when he is good, and he got that from you when he is bad. Okay. Jürgen, please.
Yeah, I think back on my own drawing lessons, for example, and I'm not good at it at all. So when we got if a task, so I gave it to my neighbor, who was very good, but the teacher could see it sometimes. So,
But
okay.
yes, I understand. I was a naughty boy too, and but when I watch this movie, I don't think a lot about me or something. I was thinking about my boys, and I found a lot of behavior that they share with this protagonist, and sometimes it makes me mad when they sleep. Looks like they sleep or something. They don't do what I say, and I lose my temper sometimes, and I asking them and behave like a father from the movie, just immediately do something and stop sleep or something like this. So and it's not a good thing. It's make me think about it more and more.
I was going to ask you about it. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
cannot say.
Have you
I
been
can't say. Yes, I can say that I do it too much, but it's definitely happened from time to time when I expect something big from my older boy. When we in sport, for instance, we going to make some exercise, and I know exactly that he can, but he got afraid or something, and he fail, and it makes me irritated. But it shouldn't be so, and I think that movie found a key to show that perfectly.
Yeah, but just think about it like that. Um, think about the way you were brought up. Our generation was more strict.
I agree.
Now we have to be more careful because of technology, because of globalization, everything affects.
But now children has, in my opinion, that in modern world children have more pressure on them than
I,
than we had.
today I agree with you.
Because when I was young, no one expected from me something. I was, I don't know, walking a huge a long time. I can walk for a long time during the day, and nobody have tasks for me. But in modern world, it's impossible. Children always busy with tasks, with homeworks, with something else, and I forget when I saw the the boy who just walking around.
Even I remember the scene from the movie, that wonderful teacher was outside, they were drawing, they were jumping up and down. I mean, I thought about it. Why in the classroom? Why not in the nature?
I don't know. Maybe such circumstances. Maybe it's, I don't know. not safe environment or something else?
I don't know.
Because I can remember that teacher Kumar, if I pronounce it right, once wrote on the loop that they don't have playgrounds on the street around schools, around how we call it, around their homes. So maybe
Around
it's just
neighborhood. Around
around
neighborhood. Yeah.
yeah. So maybe it's just impossible. It's different.
I can realize their joy, and they put on a lot of pressure on us.
Mhm.
I don't know. But I wish I could have a teacher like him, understanding and affection is important for a child. Am I right, Jogan?
Yes. Make them have freedom and joy, and yeah, I believe in that. As he said, if you can't express in art, where else?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But don't we? I'm sorry, but didn't we have such teachers? Because I definitely had. I definitely had many teachers, many good teachers who
Sure.
defined my destiny, who defined my life. And it's not a one person; it's many of them, many people who gave me a lot, and
Sure.
it looks like in this movie. So I think it's not a rare case to have such teachers.
No,
Hassan, what do you think?
I'm sorry. The thing is that in the past, in my country, the teachers were more strict. Really, more strict. No affection at all.
But I don't care much about being strict or not strict. I know my math teacher was very strict, but I know math, perfectly.
But just a smile, just somebody says, "Oh, well done, my lovely boy or my lovely girl." It is encouraging one.
But encouraging can be in many forms.
Okay, maybe hit my face and says, "Good girl." Oh, no, thanks, Ivan. Vasant, you were saying something.
The trick is if you want to lock, I mean, let's compare the children with some birds or animals. If you want to lock them inside the cage, then don't lock them. Just put them inside and do not lock them, because that will make them feel claustrophobic. So if you don't lock the door, then they will stay inside and they will feel the freedom and they will obey your order. So I think that trick might work.
Vasant, if you put them in cage and never love them, do they escape from the cage?
No, I mean, it's just an example, like putting a parrot inside a cage and do not lock the door, just open it. It will stay inside and it will feel the freedom, like, okay, I can go whenever I want, like that.
Okay.
But it will stay and it will obey your order and it will stay inside, just like that. It will happen to the children as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anything else about the movie, about the story? What line do you like? What you don't like? What about actors, music, something? If you want to share, it's time.
Okay, the first thing is that I'm not a very patient person. The beginning is long for me. I just wanted it to start. I love the music, okay, but the first part, it is long for me. That's the only criticism from me.
Hmm.
I'm in love with the movie.
Yes, it's for 2 hours and something else, right? It's a long one.
You think that I have watched 2 hours?
Jordan?
I like the when you just watch and they don't say anything several times. I like that. Yeah.
Just
That,
looking at each other, you mean?
Sorry?
Just looking at each other, you mean,
Yeah.
not talking.
mhm. What sounds?
I personally liked the scene where the teacher showed the Korean letters to the father and tell me what it is. Then he couldn't say anything, and you are being arrogant. You are naughty. So that that defines the whole concept of the movie, I think. Yeah.
What I like it in the movie, it's this. I don't know is it English word or not. It's this cultural colorate. I don't know cultural. mm, what's the word for that, Layla? Help me. That thing that made it unique. It's make you clearly understand that this movie belongs to Indian culture, right? Not a
Yes,
Hollywood, not a Hollywood one, not a Now we have in the world we have some unified international culture.
unification. Yes,
You see this all the same movies in from I don't know from Spain, from Italy, from Germany, from US. You see the same. It's the same stories, the same approaches, the same directors' works, and so on. So I like when it has mm, some cultural thing inside. I like it. That
yeah.
please later.
Today, I just please accept my respect for you. I agree with you again. The thing is that we need unity. Of course, every country has its her culture, but the thing is that we have one common point: respect and love.
We have many commonalities and many things in common, and I'm not against that, but I think that all these small details from other cultures enrich us, and it's probably very interesting to see that. And I like it that this person, this director of the movie, don't go in the Hollywood manner, in the standard unification manner of the movie, and made it obviously Indian. I like it that.
Yeah,
Vasant, please.
Yes, I just wanted to share a trivia. He is the director, the teacher.
Hmm.
He is the director of
really?
this. Yes, yes.
Wow.
Wasn't it obvious, Leila?
Yeah, but I came home. I just promised you that I was going to join. I just turned it on. I cooked some things, and meanwhile, I watched. The
Hmm.
only thing that I can say, I turned it out loud so I can hear everything. No, I love the movie a lot.
Okay, okay. Okay, so we have some questions on our Padlet. Let me share them. Okay, number one. Uh, what happened if they drew the lines even a bit slant?
What happened?
So about some exercise in the class, right?
Uh, yeah, they draw some what do you call figures?
Figures. Hmm.
No, uh, what do you call this? Uh,
Lines, maybe.
yeah, special word. Yeah, figures. So like squares and bottles. They shapes, different shapes. You don't remember?
Sorry, no.
Okay.
Maybe I missed that part. But it's a long movie, I don't think that that you can get all the details from the one one time.
Okay,
So
maybe.
you give us the answer, please.
Yeah, they have a ruler and give them raps on your knuckle. Clench the hand and yeah, beat them 5 times, I think.
Wow.
Yes. Well, okay, another one. Let's do something positive. Ishan was supposed to get a signature on mark sheets from his parents. Does your country follow that practice? Jürgen, what about your parents? Do they have to sign your documents?
No. No.
Leila, what about you?
No, but I don't mind.
Well, it was a common practice in my case in Russia. It's a common practice. You have some journal of where teachers put your grades, and once a week, your parents supposed to watch it carefully and make a signature that yes, we watched that and we in touch with the education process. And from time to time, not regularly, but it happens from time to time. Teachers watch it with a signature and ask it why your parents don't see your grades. It's a mistake. Vasant, so it's the same in India, right?
Yes, but in my childhood, I think when I was studying between the 5th grade until the 5th grade, I was supposed to get the signature from mark sheets. But later, uh, they gave a progress report. It's like a card,
Yeah,
and they will note down all the marks, and so you don't
a
have to
kind of report.
bring the mark sheet. You don't have to bring the mark sheet to the people, to the parents, and it's hard. It's a good practice, I think, because the people, parents can read what you wrote on the mark sheet and how you expressed your knowledge on the mark sheet. So, but nowadays they don't follow that. They just give the progress report. They are running behind the marks only.
As far as I know, nowadays it's all electronics. In Russia, parents have receive your grades by SMS when you get them. Leila, please.
What we do here is regularly we send a kind of report about the child's progress to the parents. We write these reports.
Do you have parent meetings regularly?
Yes. There are 2 semesters. In the first semester, 1 meeting, and the second semester, the second meeting takes place.
Mm-hmm. It was the most scary moment in my young age. When your parents went to this parent meeting and you don't know what to expect, and you have to wait for a few hours and just hope that everything will be fine. I was a naughty boy.
In your childhood.
I was a naughty boy, and it's never was fine for me, but but it have some grades, from very bad to just bad.
Among us now, 4 of us, I thought you were the naughtiest child in the past. Jogan, no, I think he was calm. Was that? Oh no, definitely he was calm. As for me, I was naughty a bit.
And speaking about this signature and mark sheets, for many times I'm trying to make my father's signature on my documents and don't show them my grades.
Wow, okay, you mean?
And it's always revealed after on the parent meetings, and it was bad.
This is forgery.
Right. And once I changed the you know, this Russian mark books. It's kind of a book, kind of, I don't know. It has many papers inside. So and months, week for week, they put grades in the same book. And once I have to rewrite all that from scratch, just because I want to hide a few grades. Yes, it was a lot of job, but what to do?
Stop shouting at your children.
Yes, but nowadays it's impossible for modern people, because you know all it's electronics. You cannot fake it. How's it? Forge. What's the word for that? When
You can't imitate.
you can't imitate it, right? Because it's all recorded.
Yeah.
Okay, good question, Vasans. It's interesting one. Okay, another one. Do you think RAM, I don't know how to read it correctly, do you think RAM was diagnosed with the same problem? Or he just lied to Ishan to make him feel comfortable? Interesting one. And what is RAM?
I can
Please?
answer.
Please?
From the beginning, I thought he had the same problem, but now I think he only said so because comfort him. Oh.
But don't we do the same always? I always tell something like tell to my boy something like this. When I was young, I was, you know, doing the same as you now do, but then I get better and you will get better, and all these parent talks. So it's I think it's in our nature.
Yeah.
Any comments?
I thought
Please,
like
Vasant.
Jürgen.
Huh?
Yeah, I thought like him. You know, the first time I thought he was diagnosed with the same problem, but later I think that he just told him a white lie to make him comfortable and make him trust him.
Mm.
Don't you think that this white lie approach is kind of risky in case of children? Because
No, not here. No, not here. Ivan, this is the only way that he can reach the child.
I understand, but I mean, if that lie will be revealed, and if the child understands that it's a lie, it can have many, you know, bad
How could he
consequences.
learn? How could? After he recovered, I mean, no problem, because he recovered at the end.
Okay, Vasans?
Yes, I don't think he lied to him, because the one thing is there is no need to lie to a child, and the second thing is uh, he uh, he was a teacher in a special school,
Later.
right? Yeah. So and the way he gestured, I mean, the way he greeted his teacher towards the end at the function, the painting function, he said that she is my teacher, she is my guru, and everything. Like, okay, so he had such a teacher, and that's her, and she raised him. She helped him to recover from the disease, the problem, and now he found the same problem with, I mean, same the Ishan with the same problem. Then he wanted to help him. I think it's not a lie, in my opinion.
Leila, please.
I mean, I don't know, maybe Vasant is right, but today after the film, I had 1 or 2 minutes, so I just read something. I want to share it with you. Either as a teacher or a parent, once you get to the root cause of dyslexia, then it is pretty simple to help the child. So what I'm thinking is that maybe he told a lie, maybe he didn't tell a lie. He managed. how did he manage? This is important for me.
I agree. In many cases, I agree. You know, we have some proverbs.
With me.
We have some proverb like no one judges the winner, something like this. So if you win that, people will forgive you everything, and the child will forgive you, and it's not a problem anymore. But if you lose, it's another story.
Another story, but Vasant may be right because I didn't watch the whole movie, just by looking at each scene carefully.
Hmm. Hmm.
But this is not as important, really.
So what is dyslexia? How can you define it? How can we define it?
Dyslexia, as a teacher, if you ask me,
Hmm.
I had a report last year. Dyslexic people are visual learners. They just using their eyes a lot in order to prevent the others from understanding that they have a problem. So these are visual learners who have been sight reading. They can't read the whole words, but they try to spell the words slowly, or they are good at spelling short words, not the long ones. They just remember the words. If they meet a word that they don't know, they can't read it. And another thing is that they change the letters, as Jorgen also said, D, T. Another one, I just can't remember, B, D, I think. And they guess the short words they want.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
they are incapable of reading unfamiliar words. These are the things I know.
But what you describing is, you know, my story with me in English.
Come on.
I'm joking. I'm joking. Yes, of course, it's a real problem, I think. And but I don't know. I never meet a person with such a disease, so I don't have any personal, you know, impression about it, personal feelings. Basans, please.
Yes, I want to share an interesting information. Like, this, uh, this should never happen in Indian movies because the male protagonist was introduced in this movie just just in the middle of the movie. I mean, more after 1.5 hours. Then it will never happen in Indian movie. And when I was introduced to Hindi movies, I don't understand this language. So when I was introduced to that movies, I just bought a DVD of this film just by looking at his image on the cover. So, but I was waiting for when I was watching this movie. No, he hasn't come yet. So I think it must be a mistake. I mean, a printing mistake. I thought, but later he just came in the middle of the movie, and uh, it is called it's we call interval. So Indian movies has two parts, first half and second half, and we have a 5 minutes interval in the middle, and he just came at the end of the first half, and okay, now this is a trick and it might work. Audience, you can grab the audience at the edge of the seat. Okay, he came, and we can watch the rest of the movie like that. Yeah.
I understand. Understand. And you know, our time almost over. So last comments, if any, and we have to close this.
I must say thank you. Thank you to Vasant as well. I love the movie a lot. Next time, if you choose a movie like this, invite me.
Yeah, I
Okay.
say the same. I like
But I,
more of this. Yeah.
okay. But I'm afraid, you know, we will have a new space saga or something.
Okay, you will have funny one.
I don't know yet. Maybe I already scheduled a new movie. I already forgot, but it must be scheduled. I think. If you have any suggestion, please just send it to me, and we will watch it because it's a way to enrich us, you know, from different cultures and so on. Even it's
I will send you a Turkish movie with English subtitles, but once we talked about it, and Turkish movies are really sad, everybody will cry.
right, right. I watched it one, and you know, it was too much for me and for my wife. I don't know why, but it's really sad. You know, this movie just full of optimism, and it's a comic story compared to Turkish movie.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
So thank you again for coming. Thank you for joining
Thank
us.
you. Jordan Vasant Ivan, bye bye.
Bye 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 bye.